Hey, recording this video after close of trade Friday 19th of October 2012. It's actually Saturday morning here in France. Well, there we go. Finally got our answer. Monday's video, when the pullback level in a uptrend support kind of printed, said we'd probably run pullback to end of trend, but the strength of this rally would show us where the market was going to go. And well, with Friday's activity, we've got our answer. Strong down day, 2.2 million contracts traded, 25 points down. We've closed below that support level, so it doesn't look like it's going to run pullback to end of trend. And in fact, with a close below the support level, we've got a good chance we're breaking into a downtrend at this point. You know, we've been messing around at this level, kind of triple tops. You know, it's the bottom of the Ben Bernanke kind of punt. We've got the Mario Draghi kind of punt here. So, I mean, I think this is a really, really important kind of change of trend. And I'm surprised there's not more kind of discussion going on. I suppose it surprised me a little bit, you know, 2 weeks before the election. I would have thought we'd been messing around and not have very many kind of directional clues pre-election. But, you know, people could be thinking with a potential Romney win, you know, Ben Bernanke's out, QE's out, all of this, you know, last pump that we've had has all been kind of in the expectation of QE, been driven by the expectation of QE. So all of that kind of goes away and all of a sudden we've got uncertainty and so on. So, you know, profit taking and Apple and you know, when McDonald's came out with their numbers saying global, you know, they'd had same store growth over the last quarter, but for the first month of the next quarter they could see negative worldwide growth in same store sales. I don't think that's ever happened. So let's go through some charts. Trendline chart. Okay, so when we got the break a couple of weeks ago, we rallied from there, and that's where the pullback level printed, and there we go. You know, we rallied back up to the trend line point, bang, touch it, and kiss away we go on the way down. We're below this second trend line here. That was actually on Thursday. That was congestion point, again, because we were between two rising and falling trend lines, and we've fallen out of bed into a downtrend below this trend line. So, you know, that's really important. Better X trend, here we go. So better X trend with the week's activities. So into Tuesday, Wednesday, you can see the trailing stop was printed up. Those were exhaustion buying days, and we'd spent quite a lot of time. I was saying that it was slow to pull this trailing stop up, but now with that activity at the beginning of the week, we trailed the stop up, and with Friday's activity, bang, we're in a downtrend, and the stop is being trailed here. It's been a slightly different pattern on the different indices because we've been essentially going through a period of indecision during this topping out process, and now everything's kind of aligned. So this is the Dow. The Dow, we dropped into that downtrend earlier, a week or so ago, and what we've done here in that last move back up is just underneath the lip, bang. So that's the beginning of the downtrend. We come back up, rally just underneath the lip of the trailing stop, bang, turned away at that point. So that's an important turning point. Here's the S&P 500, similar to the daily chart on the E-mini. Nasdaq's been considerably weaker. You can see all these lower highs, whereas the Dow and the S&P have had kind of equal highs. This has been making lower highs, and that's, you know, Apple's been falling off from 700 to 600. So that's what's been driving the weakness here. And you can see again we had a little bit of a counter trend rally this week, but then that was broken on Friday on the Nasdaq. So there we go, important turning points. In terms of trend oscillator, it's a pity this thing, you know, didn't capture the profits, so we're out of this trade, kind of reversed and gone short. It was kind of doing really nicely up until Thursday. It would have been, I suppose I was thinking we mainly just kind of continue on, but you can see the lower highs being made in the trend oscillator as we're kind of going through this kind of topping out process. So there's less and less strength in buying kind of going on. So this is flipped to the downside, and so I think it's going to run a little bit on the way down. Monday's going to be really interesting. You know, the professionals are all active on a Friday. All the amateurs are looking at their charts and, you know, their positions on over the weekend, and they're going to be thinking, what do I do? You know, Apple was at 700, it's now at 600. Could easily see us going through a little bit of continuation on Monday as the amateurs kind of sell down, and I'm not sure the professionals are going to be picking it up. We had extremely high average trade size all of Friday, all on the way down, and so, you know, the professionals are using Friday to get out. Anyway, so that's my kind of interpretation of what is going on. I think this one, this chart kind of helps me understand just the psychology of what's been going on over the last 6 months. So this is daily chart. This is at ES, day and night session of continuous contract. And so we had the last kind of trend move, which was a nice kind of a classic pullback to end of trend. Now, so what was nice about this, so we had exhaustion buying, bearish divergence on the left shoulder. And so when you go back to make pullback to end of trend, it's really weak in terms of buying, maybe a little bit of flushing out, and then we get a really solid sell down, and that was kind of the June sell down. Now, at this point here, I was extremely bearish. And then whenever we were making this move back up, I saw this as a counter trend rally, and you can see support and resistance lines still holding throughout that, and it looked like just a stair step on the way up. And what normally happens out of those kind of trend rallies like that is that a support line will be broken, will be going down. So July, August, I was extremely bearish here. And as soon as we had that poke above here, that kind of strength, continued strength through that resistance line, that's where I'm saying to myself on these weekly charts, on the risk-on charts, I need to get ready for them to run, support to resistance. And we went through August, all these Rambo patterns. If you remember, August was incredibly quiet, and we were just waiting and waiting for the ECB to come in, and then we had all these rumors about Ben Bernanke and what he was going to do, quantitative QE3 and so on. So we went through all of these Rambo patterns, low volume kind of up days, and then we had the two announcements. We had the Draghi announcement, and then we had the Ben Bernanke announcement. And then through this pattern over the last 3 weeks, we've kind of made exhaustion buying right on the button. That was the Ben Bernanke kind of spike. Bearish divergence we've made, just like here. Pull back to end of trend. So this is happening on the left shoulder. Pull back to, supposed to make kind of a nice, neat end of trend pattern, but no, they want to get out early, and they're afraid. So that's how I interpret what's kind of going on. And I actually think this weekend we should be seeing far more bearish commentary saying, the end of this rising market is potentially in, and the market's trying to figure out what the environment's going to look like under potentially a Romney win. Anyway, that's kind of maybe reading too much into it. Just looking at technicals and charts and buying and selling volume and so on. This was an important down day, so just bear that in mind. And 45, 135 and daily chart here. So using this pullback to end of trend on the 45, marking a trend move is equivalent to a cycle move in the higher time frame, which was this move down here. Plotted that that support level kind of coming in, that end of trend pattern down here, and we were doing nicely in terms of racing away to make that pullback to end of trend sequence on the 45-minute chart. And then the Google news kind of came out, and then with Friday's activity, bang, just rushed down. Really, really big readings in terms of selling down. So it's like there were people very anxious to get out of this. And yeah, so let's talk about this, just the support to resistance on these risk on charts. So this is beginning of the year, middle of the year, where I'm saying to myself, we've still got support to resistance to run on these charts. And then a couple of weeks ago, all of these resistance lines came in on all these risk on charts, and so all of these are pointing down at the moment. So this is crude. Crude's been particularly weak, came up to $100 and then kind of turned around. So the last month it's been heading down. Gold again came into resistance level up here on the silver chart. We actually have, there we go, blue professional bars and a flush pattern, coming into that resistance, and silver's kind of moved away. And then Euro hasn't printed yet, but the last kind of signal up was amateur up bar, kind of weak buying at that point. We got that resistance line to print probably next week with weakness in the Euro. And there's copper. Copper's rolled over the last couple of weeks. Aussie dollar's been playing around this between 1 and 105 in terms of this range, but the last move up was Rambo pattern, amateur up bars into that 105 resistance level, and it made a little bit of a rally to this week, but I think it's going to fall back below $1 is a really critical kind of level for the Aussie dollar. Point is, all of these cyclical resistance lines are in on these weekly charts, and so these have got to run resistance to support. And we've got the same thing going on the risk off charts. So we've had support print on these charts, on the weekly chart. So dollar index is in, and we've got it about to print on the 30-year bonds, kind of coming in here, and all the bond contracts look very similar to that. So I'm allowed to be bearish, because of that kind of overall look. X trends kind of flipped over. So for me, it'd just be interesting what actually happens. Surely, coming into election, they can't have, some kind of disaster in the stock market. So, plunge protection team maybe coming in and so on. We'll see on Monday if we get kind of continuation. Let's just look at the higher time frame tip bar charts. First of all, I talk about this with the rippling through of end of trend signals on time frames. So Here we go. This is Friday, Thursday, Wednesday's activity. So we get an end of trend signal Tuesday into Wednesday. Then on the next time frame up, you need to be looking pullback to end of trend. Bang, happened on Thursday. So those end of trends are rippling through, showing us the left shoulder, the head, and then coming up to the highest time frame on the 40,500 tip bar chart. We should be making pullback to end of trend. Well, we dipped so low on Friday's activity. We're below the breakout level, so this isn't going to be. It's not a pullback kind of printed there. But it just shows you where that head was signaled beautifully on Thursday, and that was we had a bunch of blue professional bars running into the highs there on the 13,500, the 4,000 chart. It was a pullback to end of trend, a flush pattern, so on, and then we just broken into a downtrend. Let me just show you that on the 4,500. Bang, and this was into this weird Google announcement here. Look at that. All those blue professional bars just taking profits. We're heading back up into the 50s. And then we dropped off. So on the 4,500, we're making pullback to end of trend. All the professional bars are coming at the end of the day. So, they had a good day, taking it from here up in the 60s almost down to the 20s. So that was a good kind of, move down. Let's see Monday and Tuesday, I'm sure. It's going to be interesting days. In terms of my trading, 1500 tip bar chart right at the beginning of the day, we had a beautiful kind of short entry because it was in a pullback with a whole bunch of blue professional bars kind of coming in there. So I went short at 48.50 and took my 4 points when we broke through the support level here, and the blue professional bars kind of came in. Pro signal exit kind of here, and then we kind of continued on. I took another short trade at 43.75, and I think it was around here on this pullback to end of trend. Just pulled up 3/4 of a point out of that move there, and then thought I'd go long at 43.25. And when that wasn't working out around here, jumped out of that 1.25 point loss, and took another short trade at 37.75. That was on this signal here. So when things were getting really, we had all these exhaustion selling signals down here. Pull back to end of trend. I thought that was a bit lucky actually that one just kept on going. Normally, with the rally from here in the lows, the Rambo patterns was only a point and a half or something. So going short there, expecting another 3 or 4 points. It's not my usual type of trade, but I pulled out 3 out of that down to 34, and then of course, this thing just continues on down. And as usual on trend days, we ended at the lows. So always look for that. If you've got the stomach for it, and you see a trend day kind of like this developing, just use any type of strength to get in, any resistance line kind of printing to get in, and then just hold to the very last minutes of the day and just jump out then. So not bad. 6.5 points, 4 trades for me on Friday. But it was a 20-point move. That's it's just not me to pull out more than about that in a day. Having on Thursday and Wednesday, it was hard work. That's why I didn't put up videos on those 2 days, because I was just endlessly trading all day for my 5 or 6 trades. Pulled out 2 points out of the Wednesday and 4 points out of the Thursday, but it was just hard going, and I was knackered after those 2 days. But anyway, there we go. So interesting to see what people are talking about over the weekends on the news feeds and so on. But I honestly think that was a really important day on Friday. So let's see where this goes. Hope you traded well. 850, short 48.50, and just checking my stops and targets. Reason for getting short, pullback in a downtrend, 1500 tip bar chart. A lot of volatility. The market's just opened. We just kind of spiked up. Blue professional bars coming below the lows of that. So this has got to play out. Pullback to end of trend, and it's really jumpy at the moment. We had this spike yesterday, huge sell down, and then that was kind of Google news. And then we had this quite strong rally up to the close. Into the 54s. So blue professional bars came in at the end of the day. Just hoping that we'll have continuation, that we've got a downtrend kind of on the way. I don't think we've done enough damage on the downside, and on the long-term chart we've got to hit support on the 40,500 before this is over. We just dropped through support on the 500 tip bar chart, so hopefully into a trend move here. Also below support on 4,500. overnight low was 47.25. This level we've hit at the moment. Just kind of Rambo patterns into it. No blue professional bars yet. So we're playing down pullback to whatever end of trend. Minus 4,000 is not a big reading yet. So just collapse 46s. Blue professional bar is coming on 1500. Got end of trend kind of due soon, but we've got to make pullback to end of trend. We've got no blue professional bars yet on the 500 or exhaustion buying, selling. So we've got exhaustion buying at the open, and then we just sold off. So still holding out 44.50. Yeah, so end of trend's just gone off on 1500 tip bar chart. Okay, come back down. We're still below support here, so we've got to finish off this trend move on the 500. Here we go. And we haven't had a decent sell down volume yet. So we've got to see something like this. In fact, on that retrace, it was pretty substantial. Interesting, but we haven't seen it kind of clear it all out. So 46.50. So come on, looking for 44.50. Here we go, just got the break of 46.5. Whoa, here we go. Rambo pattern. Yep. Just out, 44.50. Excellent. And minus 8,000, no blue professional bars. I'm out too early. It's going to keep traveling. So it's a shame, but that's all right. One shot, one kill. 8:42 a.m. Pullback to end of trend. Didn't hold, just kept on going through because we hadn't seen exhaustion selling on blue professional bars. So there we go. It might be an opportunity to re-enter, so let's just keep watching it.